Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by insurance agents Michael Webster and Denise Brown from Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in life and property insurance. Don't take chances with your family's future.
And now, The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Here's your host, Sabrina Turner.
Good morning, and once again, it's time for another Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. I'm your host, Sabrina Turner, and we want to thank our kind sponsors. Proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Call them at 949-6211, and after the 8 o'clock news, sports and weather update, we'll be putting the spotlight on Cayman Medical Supplies. So excited to see and hear from them. Also sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products. Without further ado, I am pleased to welcome in studio, and we'll be having a mind shift this morning. So if you're actually pulling up somewhere right now and having what you consider a grab-and-go breakfast, we're going to shift your mind. We're going to make you feel a little guilty because we're going to hear from Miss Taryn Stein, and we're going to be talking about, she's an eating behavior expert of Mind Shift, and we're going to hear what makes us do the things we do when it comes to what we put into our bodies.
Well, thank you for having me here today.
It is a pleasure to have you on our show. But, you know, sometimes the strongest food cravings can hit you when you're at your weakest point. I mean, why?
Well, a lot of it is about emotional eating, right? So there's this whole equation when it comes to losing weight, which says if you exercise more and you eat less, you'll lose weight. And that's true, it's very logical, but it doesn't take into account that there's this whole emotional side to eating. And so these triggers are really, really strong when we have this emotional eating.
Tell us about it.
And so what you're doing is you're soothing yourself or self-medicating yourself with food to feel better. But the food is actually, it's not going to solve those problems, right? It's not your therapist or your guru. So it actually compounds to make you feel guilty after eating.
So for those who are like, yeah, hear them talking about that, it's just about getting the kids out for school, just trying to beat this traffic. I grab what I can get. What do you say to those whose mind is just like going, they got it made?
Yeah, so the key is really to start to listen to your body. So you reconnect your mind and your body to start to listen for real hunger cues when you're really hungry. And what that means is your stomach's grumbling, your energy's a little low, your concentration might be a little low, and you're making food decisions in a very calm and rational way, and you're eating in a calm and rational way, and then you feel satisfied after your food. Versus eating because, you've had a fight with so-and-so, you're stressed, you're bored, something like that. That's emotional eating. So you're trying to listen to your body. And if you think about like toddlers, they do this all the time. They don't go on a diet, right? They don't have a list of banned foods that they're not allowed to eat.
It's true.
It's they're listening intuitively to their body and choosing whatever food they want to eat when they're hungry for it. And sometimes they'll eat more, sometimes they'll eat less, but they're listening to their body. And that's kind of the key, and that's what I teach.
Now that you've gotten a little idea of where our show is going this morning, I will invite Ms. Stein to tell us and share with us some background details on the business Mind Shift and the main goal and why you decided to open a business such as this here.
Sure. So what I teach people is how to lose weight, but without dieting.
Okay.
So they can look good and feel confident and stop obsessing over food. So, for example, if you're somebody who looks at a photo of yourself and cringes or hates the way you look, if you get stressed about going out for a meal because you don't trust yourself around food, or you feel guilty or ashamed after eating, and you have this long laundry list of things you're going to do once you've lost the weight, those are all signs that you are being controlled by your eating or your food and you're obsessing over food. So what we do is I look at addressing those issues, right? Getting you out of that diet mentality. So out of that, I call it a diet prison, where you deprive yourself. It feels like it, doesn't it? So you're depriving yourself. So we try and get away from that and rebuild this healthy relationship with food and your body, and start to listen to your body a little bit more for those real hunger cues and solve for those emotional reasons without food.
Understanding how we're made up here, and the Caribbean as a whole, isn't it a change in your relationship with food that we have to make that personal adjustment? Understanding everything we do here is surrounding food.
Yep.
You hear us talking about the Sunday dinner, which now you can get pretty much 5 days a week. The oxtail rice and beans, something we would only dream of. Wednesdays, I know for sure. I got to give up to Chill Spot, guilty me. That salt beef rundown.
Yep.
That is something you look forward to on the weekends, or when you're out on the beach and picnicking. Now you have access to all of that during the week.
Yep.
So it is the relationship that we have with food. How can we get that back to too much?
Well, so
Cut it back.
Yeah, part of the problem is our modern day diet, right? So our portion sizes have got bigger.
Yes.
In fact, over the last 20 years, our portions have increased by 50 calories per meal.
Mega.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but over a period of time, it's significant in whether you're putting on weight. Our utensils have got bigger as well. Our knives, our forks, our plates, our glasses. So we're eating more and more. And yes, everything's accessible, right? And it's difficult with food because you can't just cut it cold turkey.
Right.
It's not like drugs or alcohol where you can just go, I'm just not going to eat that. You have to eat to sustain yourself. And it forms such a big part of our culture, as you say, especially in Cayman.
Yes.
Food is a big part of our culture. And, we eat it every day. If you think about Sunday brunch, Christmas or birthday cake, Thanksgiving turkey, all these things are food-related social gatherings.
Yes.
We're social beings.
Right.
So it's really just taking that diet mentality where you're told these are the list of foods you can't eat or forbidden foods, right? We take that out of the equation and we go, all food is good, right? It's just nourishment.
Right.
Certain foods will be healthier for you, and it's kind of like I always equate it to gas in your car. So you get food is like gas in your car, and you get A-grade fuel and you get C-grade fuel, but they all make your car run.
Exactly.
Just some make your engine run a little bit more optimally. So you're choosing foods that are more A-grade foods, if you like. And when we take this deprivation away, so you get out of that dieting mentality and you go, all food is free, your body will automatically start to migrate to want healthier foods because you feel better, you feel more energized, you feel less bloated. So your body naturally wants to go that way anyway.
What is the biggest thing where your coaching is concerned to get somebody to just make the step? Because it's all good when you're in the car, you're hearing us talking now, and you say, I got to check her out. I got to go to Mind Shift. But you find every excuse to either take that lunch hour to go and visit your office or to even just adjust what you put in your body. Cut away rice a little bit. Cut away starch. Take it away step by step. What is the biggest thing that is the blocker from even just making the tiniest of a step to get started?
I think it's the connection of listening to your bodies, right? So the biggest thing is to trust yourself. So we stay in our diet prison because we don't trust ourselves around food, because we tell ourselves that food is the enemy, and so we use all this willpower to try and stay where we are. But by nature, we're rebellious, right? And so as soon as you tell yourself you can't have that, that's exactly what you want to eat, right?
Yes.
We've all been there. And so what it is moving you outside of that. And step number one is just listening to your body and understanding, when am I really hungry? So every time you try and reach for some food, think about, am I hungry? Am I really hungry? Am I physically, is my stomach grumbling? Or am I eating because I've just gone through some sort of emotion and I'm stressed, I'm bored, I'm angry, I'm upset? And the first part is hard because you want to judge yourself for it.
Yes.
And so what I tell my clients is keep a food diary and note how you feel physically and emotionally before, then what you eat, and then how you feel afterwards. Are you satisfied? Do you feel guilty and ashamed after you've eaten? And then you can start to, and no judgments, and then you start to pinpoint all the times you're eating for emotion rather than real hunger. And then we start to solve, through our coaching, we start to solve for those emotional reasons.
Taryn,
that's step one.
How can persons get in contact with you?
So the best way is probably through my website. It's mindshiftme.com. So it's mindshiftme.com. And all my information's on there. My email address and all my services are on there.
You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz as we speak and hear more about MindShift and the services that they offer in you getting to have a better relationship with food overall and understanding why we eat the way we eat when we eat. Many a times it almost appears as though you just eat just because your mouth works.
Absolutely. Mindless eating. And you don't even realize you've finished that bag of cookies, right? And you didn't even taste them.
Oh, the oatmeal cookies. Oh, the oatmeal. We are proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. We'll take our first break for the morning. When we come back, we'll talk about what is entailed when you make or retain the services of MindShift in coaching. What is it like when you walk into your office? What can persons expect? Even though once you're by yourself, you're on that path, that journey all alone. But you know what? You don't have to do it alone anymore. Give MindShift a call. You'll get those numbers again when we come back. Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Prior to the arrival of the organized churches, Cayman's earliest schooling system was provided ad hoc by private individuals who taught the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic. Once the churches became established, education and religion became inseparable due to 2 reasons. 1, there was a shortage of funds to create government schools, and 2, Caymanians were keen on an education system which would instill Christian virtues and values. This system gave the churches a powerful influence over society, something which can still be felt today. The first trained schoolmaster in the Cayman Islands was John Jarrett Wood, who opened a school in Bordentown in 1844. Mr. Wood was trained in Jamaica by the Congregationalist London Missionary Society and the Interdenominational Miko Normal College. The first public board of education would later be created between 1908 and 1920.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
When you need stability, think Business of the Year.
Considering a new career opportunity, think Best Place to Work.
When dependability matters, think Outstanding Workforce.
In need of a reliable financial partner, think Bank of the Year.
When you seek excellence, think Cayman National.
No matter how many accomplishments we achieve, we always set the bar higher. That's why we are the most awarded bank in Cayman, and we are proud to be your
2018 Bank of the Year.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
We keep the spotlight on MindShift that offers personalized wellness coaching using psychological-based approach, looking beyond diet and exercise to tackle underlying emotional triggers to unhealthy habits. Telling us more is eating behavioral expert Ms. Taryn Stein in studio with us. But did you know emotional eating can sabotage your weight loss efforts? So everything that you've been doing from January 1st, if, let's say, because we're going to go into corporate healthy habits as well, right? let's say you go to work and Susan's stressing me totally out. That could have been the whole idea that I wanted to go to the fast food joint today for lunch. Maybe I'm stressing her out for true. And, but it often leads...
She looks happy.
Yes, for doing that. It often leads to eating too much, especially too much high-calorie, sweet and fatty foods. Now, that's where I'm going. Mm-hmm. Why is it when you're on that diet and you just got derailed because life happens, why is it we go to either the sweet food or the overly fatty
the high
foods?
Calorie foods?
Yeah.
Well, there's actually this chemical that gets released in your brain called dopamine. And it's what we call a feel-good chemical. So it makes your brain go, oh, this is cool, this is groovy, right? And that often happens when you're having sugary foods. So there's lots of things. Any pleasurable behavior will cause that kind of dopamine ping in your brain, if you like. And that's why we'll often, when we're upset or we're stressed or we need that feel-good feeling, we'll go reach for it in a bag of cookies or donut.
Because rainy season, the only thing I think about is a good pot of cornmeal porridge or a good pot of, salt beef and beans.
Yeah, it's a soothing feeling, right? And also what serotonin, which is another hormone, you can often find it, you make it when you're sleeping. So good quality sleep is key here. But you can also find small amounts in carbohydrate foods, so sugary type foods. And so if you're feeling stressed, and what serotonin does is it's a calming hormone. It makes you feel chilled out. So when you're feeling stressed and hyper, it's easier, isn't it, to go grab it in a bag of sugar than go and have a nap. So that's what's happening in your brain at those kind of moments.
Now, tell us what it's like when your services are routine to assist us in our journey of, just changing our mindset.
Yeah, so what I do is I work with people one-on-one, so do personal coaching. And every person is different, right? Their challenges are different. Their mindset is or their relationship with food is different. So we work through all of those. So step one is reconnecting their brain to their body and figuring out when they're eating for emotional reasons rather than real hunger. And then working through those emotional reasons, those triggers, and solving for those underlying triggers. And then the next step is then to move them out of this diet mentality of going, I have to deprive myself, I can't trust myself around food. Food is the enemy. So we try and move them out of that and go, actually, all food is fine. Trust your body, listen to your body. And it's a process, right? You're breaking habits that you've had for years and years and years. So most of my clients work with me for about 3 months at least so that they can build up those habits. And it sets them up for long-term success rather than going through this dieting binge cycle that, wears you down after a while because as you diet and it's restrictive and it doesn't fit into your lifestyle and you fall off it, you put the weight back on, you feel guilty and ashamed and like a failure. And actually, research has shown that 95% of dieters will put the weight back on within 1 to 5 years.
With some.
Yes, exactly. And more, yeah? And, often we'll fall off a diet and feel that we're the failure. Yes. But it's the diet that's failing you. But we keep going around in these circles. And that's why it's a billion-dollar industry.
Exactly. So who is this type of coaching for?
So this is for somebody who's either a chronic dieter and tired of going through this dieting cycle and or can't seem to keep the weight off, or somebody who knows that they're starting to emotionally eat. So those triggers for emotional eating are you eat, when you're bored, you're stressed, you're upset, you're angry, you eat in a more frenzied way, or you eat mindlessly. You don't even realize that you've eaten. You can't taste the food. You don't savor it, and you feel guilty and ashamed after eating. If any of those kind of resonate with you, you're probably emotionally eating, and this kind of coaching will help with that.
Oh my God. Repeat your number, because I'm quite sure everybody listening to us right now has experienced a little bit of what you said.
So my number is 928-9090, and all my information is on my website, which is mindshiftme.com.
So tell us about each of your corporate, you do corporate wellness coaching programs.
Yes, I do.
Tell us how that works.
So what I do with corporate wellness is I do a lot of consulting for corporations who want to either develop or enhance their corporate wellness programming. The biggest problem with corporate wellness programs is engagement, trying to get employees to engage over a period of time, right? Initially, it might be all fun for a week or two, and then people kind of peter off. So what I use is a more behavioral science approach, so looking at how do we motivate people for the long term. And that's a multi-pronged approach. So, developing interactive challenges that are long-term, doing lunch and learns, and also adjusting the actual environment so we nudge people in the right direction for health.
Okay. How affordable is the coaching that you offer at Mindshift, and what is the process like for signing up?
Yeah, so I do a variety of different options so that to suit different people's needs. So I can do one-off coaching, I do monthly coaching, and I do 3 monthly coaching. So depending on what you need, obviously the longer you stay with it, the easier it becomes and the more effective it is. And all my pricing is on my website. And then what I do is I offer a 30-minute free discovery call. And that's really just a no-commitment call just to have a chat and see what are your challenges, if my kind of coaching can support you in that, and just to see if we're a good fit. So often people don't know if this is the right thing for them. So that's why this call will kind of help solidify that.
Now, I'm quite sure you've worked in many other countries. And what have you found in the difference of where you've worked in the past versus here in the Cayman Islands that's unique to here? Anything that strikes out at you?
Well, we're big foodies here, right?
You're on an island, you're kicking back.
And the food is amazing here. And being a foodie myself, that's what I love. So it's such a big part of our culture. And there's such a strong element to that. And you don't want to lose that, right? You don't want to lose that social element. And that's often what happens with dieting is we feel too stressed to go out because we don't trust ourselves around food. So we say no. We either say no to social engagements because we don't, want to fall off and break the diet and we don't trust ourselves there, or we go to these events and we have the chocolate cake and we think, well, now I've broken my diet, I might as well go big or go home and eat, more and more stuff. So you binge. So the whole idea is really to go, you know what, everything's free. Like all food is good, and it's really just breaking that mentality. So the oxtail, the spicy beef. It's all great. It's all great.
I'm glad you went there because we're keeping it real. That Cayman style beef with a little bit of boiled yam, cassava, and oh Lord,
absolutely, absolutely.
That is Mindshift. We're going to shift it to make that healthier.
Absolutely, and you shouldn't ever have to say, "Oh, that's bad, that's guilty." And you see it on menus all the time: guilt-free or decadent. Food's got no emotion, it's got no agenda, and that's where we want to get to.
I like how you put that. We're going to take our final break for the morning, and when we come back, I'll ask you to share some tips relating to overcoming emotional eating.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Save time, don't stand in line. You can apply for or renew your trade and business license online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just visit dci.gov.ky and click on the Trade and Business Online application link. Now, you don't need to stand in line, take time out of your busy schedule, or try to find parking. You can apply for your trade and business license online. Visit dci.gov.ky today and save time for running your business.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz as we keep the spotlight on Mindshift. And in studio with us, eating behavioral expert Ms. Taryn Stein teaches people how to rewire their thinking about emotional eating, rebuild a good relationship with food, and create long-term healthy habits. But I'll ask her just before we go and we give her final thoughts to share with us some tips on how she would, be relating to overcoming emotional eating?
Yeah, so the first key is to identify when you're emotionally eating. So as I said, you have keep a food diary. That's probably the easiest way. Write it down because then you can visually see it.
Yes.
One of the other Jedi mind tricks that I teach my clients is start to eat off a smaller plate, because as we were talking about earlier, our portion sizes have got bigger, our plates have got bigger. I'm not saying a baby plate, but like a plate that's about 7 to 9 inches in diameter.
What they used to be back
What
in the
they
day.
used to be, yes, exactly. Because we're visual creatures, right? So you want to fill your plate. And if you're filling a big plate, you're overeating. If you're putting the right portion for yourself, it looks very sparse and you feel deprived.
Yes.
And chances are you're going to go and eat that chocolate bar afterwards because you feel deprived. So eating off a slightly smaller plate just visually makes you feel more satisfied. So it's one of my Jedi mind tricks.
Where are your offices located?
So I actually work from people's homes.
Okay,
so,
you're mobile.
Yeah, I'm mobile because it helps me to be in their kitchen, in their environment, see how people are living, right? It just helps with that emotional side of things.
What's the most interesting thing you've ever seen people try to, hide from you when you're coming to their house? Or they push it behind some other boxes?
There's lots of boxes, empty boxes in the trash, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And the box of cookies and that, it's a guilty feeling, and it's really just getting away from that you don't have to hide that stuff.
But
it's
the
okay.
good thing is they've made the step. They reached out to you for help, and you're there.
Absolutely.
So there's no sense of showing exactly who you are by trying to toss it in the trash, because that's the first step of you're sabotaging yourself.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've seen it all, and I'm here to be supportive, right, and to move you out of that. So, hiding that stuff from me is pointless.
Ms. Stein, what would you like to leave with our listening audience this morning? What would you like them to take away from this interview and about Mindshift?
Well, if you're feeling like this resonates with you, then absolutely please do get in touch. There's nothing worse than being trapped in, feeling guilty or if you're feeling overweight and feeling ashamed or have low self-esteem. But there's also nothing worse than then moving straight into a diet prison. So if you're feeling trapped in those kind of worlds, then please do get in touch. I'm happy to support you.
It's one thing with all of this Pinterest and social media, and we see all of these size 0s and 2s and 6, and we're not all made the same way.
Absolutely. I mean, what's the point of fitting into a size 0 jeans if you're feeling haggard, your hair's dull, your skin's bad because you're eating this really restrictive diet? Right? So it's really about embracing who you are and your body shape, and we're all different shapes and sizes, right? And breaking free, part of that is breaking free from that diet mentality that tells you you're a failure, where it's setting you up for failure.
Many a times we're our biggest enemy.
Absolutely.
Ms. Stein, it is a pleasure. Thank you for allowing us to put the spotlight on Mindshift, and I want to wish you success in your new endeavours.
Well, thank you so much, Sabrina. This has been super fun.
It's a pleasure. Keep it locked for more of the Business Buzz after the 8 o'clock news, sports and weather update, when we'll be putting the spotlight on Cayman Medical Supplies.
Thank you, Sabrina. And the studio time now by Price Right is 7:59.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore. Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman. Access information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman. Your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. The Cayman Heart Fund International Symposium provided an opportunity for Cayman's medical community to discuss some of the latest developments in research and treatment.
As doctors, we have to keep up on our continuous medical education, and this heart disease it's a common problem. So by keeping up to date, hopefully we can use that knowledge to help our patients.
Dr. Alfred Choi says the event gives him the opportunity to not only hear from international speakers, but engage with them as well. Dr. Allison Duncan has attended the symposium for 3 years in a row and tells Radio Cayman it's an excellent event.
A lot of important information is shared and a lot of important talks are given. The doctors, nurses, the medical staff who have attended will pass on that information to the patient, and hopefully it will result in better patient care all around.
The Cayman Heart Fund Annual International Symposium is now in its 12th year. A look at how women should make their mark in the workplace is the focus for the Family Resource Center's upcoming workshop and Observing Honoring Women Month.
Motivating workshop, preparing you for first impressions, establishing your online presence, and sharpening your interview skills. Whereas the one on Friday the 29th, which is called Rising Through the Ranks, Women in the Workplace, is a session to explore gender equality in the workplace. So they're different based on what your interests and needs are.
FRC's programs facilitator Miles Ruby tells Radio Cayman it's important to have gender parity, not just about breaking the glass ceiling, but how we treat one another.
They can either call FRC at 949-0006. They could email us at frc.gov.ky, or they can go on our webpage, dcs.gov.ky, and go to our news or our public awareness campaigns, and there is a button where you can register for as many of the activities that we have planned for this month.
The Women in the Workplace Make Your Mark event is this Friday, and a location will be announced soon. Spaces are limited, and those interested are encouraged to register as soon as possible. And in other news, Cayman Brac, they're bursting with talent. Over the course of several hours, parents, teachers, and supporters enjoyed various performances by the Cayman Brac primary and high school students. Mallory Williams, Cayman Brac's primary music specialist, says the performers had received either a gold or silver medal at the recent National Children's Festival of the Arts.
They're very talented. We have so many students here who are talented in music and dance and speech, public speaking. We have lots of talent here on the Brac.
She says exposing the students to the arts at a young age helps them make an even greater connection with their community.
It connects them with their culture, it connects them with other cultures from around the world, and it gives them opportunities to perform in different places.
The night's activity saw some 30 performances. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, who will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. The United Nations says the storm that has just ravaged parts of southern Africa is possibly the worst weather-related disaster ever to hit the southern hemisphere. 1.7 million people were in the direct path of Cyclone Idai in Mozambique. More than 900,000 were affected in Malawi. Boeing has told airlines it aims to issue new software for its grounded 737 MAX planes by the end of the month. The update is expected to limit the operation of a system intended to prevent plane stalling. Investigators say there were clear similarities between the crash of a 737 off Indonesia last year and one earlier this month involving an Ethiopian Airlines plane. The head of Japan's Olympic Committee, Tsunekazu Takeda, says he will stand down following allegations of bribery related to Tokyo's successful bid to host the Games next year. French prosecutors have placed Mr. Takeda under formal investigation for suspected corruption in the bid. Germany's Minister of State for Europe has said the EU's patience is being sorely tested as Britain tries to define its way forward on Brexit. Michael Roth called on Britain to make concrete proposals as to why it might want to extend the Brexit process. Britain is due to leave the European Union in 10 days' time.
Access. Information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
I
grew up with diabetes. The easy part is controlling it with insulin. The hard part is living with diabetes. But there's hope.
Sol Cayman and Esso Station dealers are teaming up with the Cayman Islands Diabetes Association in their goal to create awareness and provide education to their community. Until April 12th, 5 cents from every gallon of fuel sold will be donated to the Cayman Islands Diabetes Association on your behalf. Fill up at any Esso station today and fight diabetes together.
The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Pleasant good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 81 degrees. Relative humidity is 78%. Barometric pressure 29.99 inches and rising. Winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 71 degrees. Synopsis indicate light and variable winds and slight seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours, associated with a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. A cold front over the northwest Caribbean is expected to linger over the next day or so, leading to an increase in cloudiness and a chance of showers for the Cayman area. Radar images show isolated showers southeast of Cayman Brac, which are moving towards the west. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 40% chance of afternoon showers, and temperatures will be in the mid to upper 80s. Your winds will be light and variable for today. Seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures falling to the low 70s tonight. Your winds will be light and variable, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. High tide will be this morning at 10:18, low tide this afternoon at 4:44, and a high tide again tonight at 8 minutes past 11. The sun will set this evening at 6:35 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:30. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Thursday morning as the front lingers over the northwest Caribbean. And that's the very latest on your weather report. Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Busy traffic coming from the east on Shamrock Road just past the Tomlinson roundabout, and also on the Linford Pearson Highway. Expect some delays as you head on down to Georgetown. Little steady traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way. Also on Huldah Avenue, traffic is steady. Moderate flow of traffic on Thomas Russell Way. And let's look at what's happening on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz. Traffic flowing moderately in both directions. On Shedden Road and Edward Street, traffic is moderate as well. Nothing to worry about too much. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic flowing pretty good. From the Westway four-way stop, light to moderate traffic flow. And as we look at what's happening on Crew Road, steady traffic closer to town. And the traffic is steady bit flowing further up on Crew Road. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll update you traffic-wise. Remember, 10-2 on the steering wheel. Buckle up.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after,
visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
Brit K, where people come first.
At Flow, we know that 4 are better than 1. Introducing Flow Quad Play. Packed with the fastest, most reliable broadband, the power and control of Flow Evo TV, Cayman's best mobile experience, and tons of home phone minutes, all in one convenient package from only $199 a month. With 4 plans to choose from, you're sure to find one that fits your needs. It's value, ease, and convenience all on one bill with Cayman's #1 network. Find out why 4 are better than 1 with Flow Quad Play at discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
Plastic pollution is a global issue.
Even our beautiful islands can't escape plastic being found on our beaches and in the ocean. Together, we can change this. We can start by taking the 345 Pledge, which is a personal commitment to make better choices in our everyday lives. I am Kelsey Woodman-Bodden, Miss World Cayman Islands, and in a united effort for Cayman to be more environmentally friendly for the betterment of our future generations, I challenge all residents to take the 345 Pledge, which can be found at plasticfreecayman.com.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Cayman's Business Buzz.
And welcome back to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz that is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and also Cayman Insurance Center. And in this segment, I'm excited to put the spotlight on our sponsor, Cayman Medical Supplies. In studio with me, I'm pleased to have pharmacist and founder, Mr. Donald McLean, and hopefully in a short few minutes, we will also be graced with the presence of Mr. Winston Moore, Managing Director. Good morning, and it's a pleasure to have you in studio.
Yeah, good morning.
I want to publicly thank you for sponsoring this show, and we're very grateful, and we're happy to put the spotlight to give a more in-depth so that people will understand and get more of the history, how this whole Cayman Medical Supplies, for what we know it as today, came into fruition. So, Mr. McLean, again, Caymanian, pharmacist, and now you are the founder of Cayman Medical Supplies. Share with us some historical perspectives on this organization.
Well, it was my first sort of entrepreneurial venture. Started in 1985. The actual name of the company is McLean's Drugs Limited, trading as Cayman Medical Supplies.
Okay.
And it had a start at the Dr. Thomason's Clinic, Professional Medical Center. It was a one-man show. We were a very small dispensary, well, one employee, which was me. And then it evolved in 1989 after we started Healthcare Pharmacy Limited. We morphed that company into a wholesaler primarily for pharmaceuticals, and then later on into medical supplies. So it's been around for the last 34 years.
How has it changed? How has the market grown as it pertains to medical supplies, the demands, in Cayman as a whole?
Well, the population of Cayman has increased dramatically since we started the company. And also we have an aging population due to, medical advances. People are living longer. People also, there's more initiative to care for the elderly at home. And, well, that's always been a sort of Cayman tradition anyway. Yeah. And so that's increase the need of medical supplies.
Right. How have you seen persons? I know you are the guys to go to when it came to rental of wheelchairs, convalescent aids, and so forth. How is that market? Has it increased? Is there a greater demand?
Yeah, recently I would say it's increased. We've also gone into scooter rentals and things like that. Wheelchairs that can take people to the beach with big tires, things like that.
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely increased, and that's a newer venture for us.
Now, I believe you carry a number of different products. Can you share with us a little information on those items?
There's loads of different products. We represent a number of companies. Here comes Winston. He could probably give you a better insight on that.
Hi, Winston.
Hi.
Managing Director of Cayman Medical Supplies. Mr. Moore, welcome to have. It's a pleasure to have you on our show.
Traffic.
Okay, there you go.
Good.
Yes, Mr. Winston, we want to welcome you to the Business Buzz, and we want to thank you publicly for sponsoring our show, which is every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 until 9. And, we just wanted to know what type of products do you actually supply?
We do supply the vital products, mainly the DME, which is for the home care, especially. In addition to our regular, medical and pharmaceuticals, and now we have gone into renting of scooters, which is something that was requested from visitors from overseas who want to travel to the island, but they need to find out if we had that available. So it's something new that we actually started this month.
Right.
In addition, we're doing the beach wheelchairs as well. As well, yes.
And this is based on the request of persons who are visiting our shores and don't want to, that needs access to the beach, but may not have beach access wheelchairs personally owned.
That's correct, yes. Usually we get the request via our email or from our email. And sometimes through EK online, the request comes through. And it's something which was requested over and over, so we decided, no, we're going to go into it. And we got our first scooter coming in this weekend, and it's already rented.
Oh.
Yeah, it is.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
What if someone wanted to special order a certain type of home care equipment? How can you, would you be able to accommodate their requests?
I guess we can. Once they give us the specs on what they want, and we'll go out and source it and have it for them. Depending on what it is, it could take between 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the particular request they want.
Now, I believe Cayman Medical Supplies will be offering monthly specials throughout the year. Can you speak to what customers can be looking for the rest of this month in April?
Well, for this month, we ran a special on Botox. And we ran that special, I think it was last week, Monday, at 9:30. And by 2 o'clock, we were sold
wow.
about 20 vials. So, because, we have a lot of the dermatologists so on who into this product. So it went just like that. I actually had to place an order right away for some more, and it should be in Thursday.
Okay, so we got to get that South Beach look then.
Yeah, should be noted though that the Botox is only sold to medical providers and not the public. I just found the mission statement here. I don't know if you.
Sure, go right ahead.
I'd like to read that. I think that's a good place to start.
As founder, we will know what got you going.
And the mission statement is: our goal is to provide quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner.
And you guys have lived up to that.
And just a point here, it's, we're in a business, but we're not totally money-driven.
Right.
There's care and empathy, want to provide a service for the community at a reasonable price. We live on an island. It's very expensive. Shipping, you have input duties, things like that. So by the time we get the product into the store, depending on how we ship it,
price could be through the roof.
It can be high. I'll give you an example, if I may. I just ordered a knapsack online. I had it shipped through MBE. And the knapsack was $250. And I went, and I had to pay another $190 shipping and duties just to get it here, depending on the mode that you bring it in. Yeah. Just use that as an example.
And that's what you guys do. You do all the research to try to keep the end cost.
That's correct, yes.
Reachable for all.
That's correct. We try our best to ship via ocean, and that way it keeps the freight cost down, which in return keeps the duty down as well. So, and go on to what Mr. McLean said about, it's not really about money, because we do a lot of donations too.
I'm going there.
Okay.
Yes, your
Okay.
community involvement,
Okay.
but you can go right ahead. We want to know, what you do in involvement with charities and how you help the less fortunate here on island, because I know that's something you all have been doing for years.
Yes, that's something we're doing from years, even,
From the time Mr. Donald was there, yeah?
Yes, and I followed on what he said, it's not all about money.
Mm-hmm.
You can give to the less fortunate and, take it from there. Just last week we donated some diapers and so on to Meals on Wheels, who had one of the customers who needed those products but couldn't get them. So we donated a case of each.
And that's why this company is blessed.
Yep.
And we do that sometimes wheelchairs. So it's just give.
Even simple things that is the general benefit of the community, like the Cayman Marathon, for example.
Mm-hmm.
From day one, we've always supplied medical supplies free of charge to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not publicized, not a lot of people notice, but we are very much involved in the community.
Right. Walk us through the ordering process, and is doctor referrals required, or if someone has an elderly or sick person at home, can they come direct, or is it directly through a doctor referring them?
Well, it depends
on what it is,
on
I
the
guess.
product.
Mhm.
Some things need to be prescribed by a doctor, and you should point out that we are not actually a pharmacy, so we don't fill prescriptions for pharmaceuticals. But sometimes a doctor will prescribe a hospital bed or a wheelchair or something else, or a patient, and they're reimbursed through Cineco.
Okay.
And that in that respect, we can, if it's a non-prescription item, we can supply the public. Winston might want to elaborate on that a little bit.
That's correct what he's saying. And most of the requests come through Cineco, beds, wheelchairs, and that kind of stuff. So in that case, you like you said, we don't take prescription, but once a doctor referral, it goes to Cineco, it's approved, and then on to us. If it's a hospital bed, we'll have it delivered within at least 24 hours after we get the approval from Cineco. We do free deliver and set up free of cost. Yeah. And I must add, another thing that we're actually looking into is to do a repair and service on these beds after, because it's something that's not been done. So it's something that we're actually looking into doing.
Yeah, that's a niche market, because sometimes we've encountered this in the past. You buy a wheelchair and you use it for 4 or 5 years, and then something happens. A wheel drops off or something, and there's no one on the island really doing it.
No,
so it's a niche that you hope to fill.
You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. I'm your host, Sabrina Turner, as we put the spotlight on Cayman Medical Supplies, one of our sponsors here of the Business Buzz show. For more information, you feel free to give them a call. That's 949-6211. And I'm speaking with Mr. Donald McLean, who's pharmacist and founder of Cayman Medical Supplies, and Mr. Winston Moore, managing director. Now, does Cayman Medical Supplies have affiliation with various wholesalers, especially when it comes to, let's talk about the pharmaceutical products and medical equipment?
I'll let Winston elaborate on the actual companies that we do represent. But I want to point out also that we're the largest supplier to the Health Services Authority.
Nice.
Yeah. Winston?
Yeah, yes, okay. Yes, we do represent a number of companies. In relation to the medical supplies and equipment, we have a company called Midland Industries, which is based in Chicago, and I think we have that's been a long-standing relationship for about over 20, 25 years, safe to say, and that's our largest supplier. We have on the pharmaceutical side, we have companies known as Boehringer, Novartis, Roche. And there's a few others, but they were main ones. Also, we have a company in Puerto Rico, which is another large distributor of pharmaceuticals. It's called Puerto Rico Pharmaceutical Supply, and
don't forget Medtronic.
And Medtronics is also one of our suppliers.
Now, understanding living here in the Cayman Islands, everything pretty much is imported. What is a day like running an organization like this, understanding you're in a very, very vulnerable, yet such a critical role that it plays for the health and well-being? And when you look at persons who are needing assistance, like these special beds, wheelchair access, and now you're upgrading to scooters. But the fact still remains, you're depending on the continuity of these relationships that you're building up with your suppliers, and the fact that even importing could form its challenges. It must be rather stressful.
That's huge challenges.
No brainer for you, Mr. Donald.
No, huge challenges. I mean, inventory control.
I can imagine, yes.
The core of your business.
Yes.
As much as you would like to have that product in stock, it's sometimes very difficult to base usage for a number of reasons. We have a lot of visiting physicians here. Sometimes there's a run on a certain disease. So you think you have enough, but sometimes you run out, and you'd like to have the product, but so it's a tight walk and a tightrope. And Son can elaborate a little bit on that.
The formula is quite tricky because a lot of especially the pharmaceutical stuff, comes with expiry dates as well.
That's correct. And not only that, especially in recent times, the pharmaceutical supply sometimes being short demand, especially in the U.S., and it can be on back order for weeks, months before we can get an order in. It's again based on demand from other customers or the suppliers. So a particular item could be on back order for a month or more in the pharmaceutical industries. Yep. In the medical supplies side of it, you also have the same challenge because most of the supplies are manufactured elsewhere, and it takes time depending on the raw materials and different things that goes into it.
Yeah, the lead time is it can take you 3 months to get a product, and depending on where it's sourced from, and also. Talking about pharmaceuticals, I mean, more recently, globally, there's a shortage of certain type of pharmaceuticals.
Yes, you're quite right.
You just can't get it. And, the supplier is going to supply the big markets before they supply us.
The little ones.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself with certain products hoarding just to make sure you have it because of the challenges that we face here living on an island and having to import everything?
Well, no, we try to do it, but sometimes
tricks of the trade.
Yeah.
It's money.
Yeah, that too. Now, we have an off-air question in regards to whether or not you supply replacement tires for wheelchairs. I understand that you are getting into the repair side because that's a niche, and right now there's nobody repairing wheelchairs and so forth. But as it is right now, do you supply replacement tires for wheelchairs?
No, that's part of the where we go in as well.
Okay, so keep it tuned in to Cayman Medical Supplies, and I'll deliberately repeat their number, 949-6211 for that caller off air, wanting to know if they're replacement tires. As it is right now, it's a no.
I don't know, but it's something we're going into.
How do you, for equipment, medical equipment and supplies, cater to persons in the sister islands?
I must say, since we did the first show on Video Kebab, it picked up a lot.
Really?
Really?
I'm happy for you.
Yes, we've been sending beds over to Kevin Brock, wheelchairs.
And you go over and you set them up? And
no, actually, there's someone in Brock who
is capable, okay.
Do that. But if needs be, I guess we'll send someone to do it.
Who doesn't want a reason to go over there?
Yeah, I would go myself.
Keep it locked to the Business Buzz. When we come back, again, we're putting the spotlight on one of our sponsors, Cayman Medical Supply. Yes, they're in studio with us this morning telling us more about the products and services that they offer. I'm pleased to have here pharmacist and founder, Mr. Donald McLean, and Mr. Winston Moore, managing director. We'll be back after these few messages. Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
If you would like to have clear and healthy skin, then ask the pharmacist at Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor about Proactive and X-Out skincare products. Get your best blemish-free skin ever with dermatologist-developed Proactive. X-Out is a revolutionary doctor-developed acne treatment designed just for teens. This one-step face cleanser works 3 ways to clear up acne. Ask the pharmacist at Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor for advice on Proactive and X-Out. Get the skin you've always wanted. Healthcare Pharmacy, Grand Harbor.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz here on Radio Cayman, and we're here and put the spotlight on Cayman Medical Supplies. I'm pleased to have our guest in studio, Mr. Donald McLean, pharmacist and founder, and Mr. Winston Moore, managing director. Now, at the beginning, we are excited over the scooters. Tell us exactly how this came into fruition, understanding that the public beach right now has access for persons who are in wheelchairs, beach access wheelchairs, but here we are getting into scooters now. This puts us on a different level when we come to a Caribbean island, and Cayman is now being able to offer and give assistance to those who want to enjoy our beautiful beaches.
Okay, in relation to the scooters, is not actually the one that go on
the beach. Yeah. It's just a wheelchair one.
Yeah, the wheelchair one,
okay.
which is they come with some big players, and they can be go on the beach with because under the water have this
that they spread out. Yeah,
but
like
this particular one can go on beach.
Without it.
Yes, because the wheels are put by, and that also came about as a request from visitors.
Demand, right?
Demand.
Yeah. People call and email you, ask if it's available.
And this is something that that didn't ask, but we didn't have it, so we say, okay, let's get into it, and be there. The wheelchair, the beach access wheelchairs also down to be rented at the end of this month. There's people coming down for holidays or whatever.
Wow. Let's talk about the scooters now.
Okay, scooters. Again, that was a demand from a visitor coming to the island, and he found our number, our contact information, asked if we had it, and we told him no, but he said he'll be here at the end of this month. So I said, okay, no problem, I'll have it here. And it's actually on the port as we speak.
Nice.
Yeah.
That must make you feel so, when you look back, Mr. McLean, at this whole inception, this whole idea, and here you are not only sponsoring a show, but you can sit back and look back, and you just look at how it's just ballooned.
Beyond my wildest dreams. I started this company in 1985 at $10,000.
Wow.
It couldn't be done today, but, back then. How many employees do you have now, Winston?
9.
And we should point out that it's 100% Caymanian owned. Always been. And so I owned it for a number of years, and then Winston Moore and Shawnee Banks were long-term employees, has recently bought it.
Wow.
They keep me on, I think, for, I don't
just
know.
Moral support.
Yeah. They have a hitter.
Yes, why not? That's a good investment.
Consultant, but I'm essentially retired. I mean, I've been a pharmacist for 38 years, so it's time for me to go sailing now.
Yeah, can't blame you. Mr. Winston, what is it like? Because Mr. McLean has he's left a high mark. The bar is high, but the mere fact that you all started off as employees. Now, if there's anything of succession planning and employees investing into a place that they work, this is the model for it. If you're going to work right now and you never see yourself owning that organization, we have just displaced. We've just blown that away, because there is a possibility.
Yeah. Well, let me start with saying that I was not actually employed at first. I was at the HSA for a number of years. And, when I retired, then Mr. McLean said to me, I can't retire. You know, and then he employed me about 10 years ago now.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how long, but I first met Winston when I came back from university, and I was the chief pharmacist at the hospital. Winston was the storekeeper, and so we developed a friendship because, you know, we're in the same type of business. I told him, when you retire, you come work for me.
Of course.
Now he owns the place.
Wow.
So what I did, I fired him.
Fired him and brought him back. No, what you call him now is an equity partner. How does it feel getting up in the morning, or when that the signatures were actually placed, the transfer was done, you know, all the paper and all that good stuff, and you're driving up and you're going to work, but now you're not going as only an employee, but the owner. The liability that you've taken on, the risk that you've taken, but you know it. What is that feeling like?
At first, when, you know, we discussed with Mr. McLean about buying he decided to sell it to us, is like, I said to myself, you know, it's something like I can do. Can I manage? Mm-hmm. I said, okay. No matter. So I went ahead, you know, Sean and myself, and we had another partner, and I said, okay, we're going to take it on, you know, and he did give us some good support, you know, and in terms of the sale, which I'm not saying. And, you know, now, even though sometimes it's stressful, but, you know.
It's rewarding at the end because it's yours.
Yeah.
Mr. McLean, did you have any issues whatsoever separating, understanding that you are the founder? Were there anything like, even though you still have a little nugget in there, it's not like you're in control. Did you have any separation issues at all, or you were just pleased to know that you could give employees that opportunity to take your dream, your vision forward?
No real separation issues, but one thing that really I like is they kept the original name of the company, which is McLean's Drugs Limited. So they came on as directors, and I'm still director, but believe me, my stake in it is minuscule. Mm-hmm. They own the large majority of it, and I'm just on there as a consultant. So I'm still involved. It had gone past the stage of me working there on a day-to-day basis a number of years ago. Mm-hmm. So it was an easy separation. But like I said, I'm pleased that the name continues. McLean's Drug continues into... That speaks for itself. It works for itself. That's right. So that when I'm gone, that'll continue. And, well, I am gone, I guess. But, and, you know, yeah, it just was very, very satisfying.
Mm-hmm. How important is it in maintaining the relationship with your suppliers, understanding that you have clients that are totally dependent on the services that you provide?
We do have a very good relationship with all of our suppliers. They're very understanding. We get good terms from them, and, you know, whatever help or request or whatever we need, they're always there for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good example of that was Ivan.
Uh-huh.
We just got a container load of medical supplies, from 40-foot container from Medline, and Ivan took it.
Wow.
Medline called us immediately and said, what can we do? I said, you can send me another container, just like that one, and give us as much time as you can to pay for it.
That's
and they did. So very, very good support from the suppliers.
Excellent.
I must say, Midland is an excellent supplier. You know, they've been back with for most of the time.
Mm-hmm. What is the best way for persons to contact Cayman Medical Supplies?
Okay, they can contact by calling the number 949-6211. That's to the office. Mm-hmm. We have two locations actually. One is a retail location, which I didn't mention, and then we have a warehouse, and it's the operation. So when they call the 94962 number, it'll go to an auto attendant. Mm-hmm. And if there's something you actually want from the retail, which we try and, you know, let the customers know, contact the retail first. And, you know, this way our pharmacist is based and other staff they don't have it there, then they'll get on to us at the warehouse.
Right.
So it's either option 1, option 2.
But somewhere you'll get somebody to attend to you.
And then we have, you know, Facebook and Instagram now that we're moving on to. And Sean wants us to mention that we have the Medela products, the breast pumps.
Mm-hmm.
They probably have the
the breastfeeding.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we can have those as well, and I think we have very good prices on those.
And we were expanding that home health care area of it, because initially we were just pharmaceuticals.
Right.
And then we went into medical supplies, and we expanded even further now, wheelchair rentals. It's just a growing company.
What about somebody purchasing something for an elderly or someone who like aids, walking aids, that sort of stuff, and it's not needed anymore? Would you actually purchase those from persons?
Well, actually, it's something that we didn't.
It's called recycling.
I know. We didn't think about it, but now it's good.
They haven't experienced that before, because normally, like a hospital bed, for example, they buy it, and then they'll, after that person deceases, they may pass it on to someone else.
Okay.
And there have been instances where they've been donated to the Pines, for example. I know wheelchairs, things like that. We've never really had anybody come back and access. But it's something you could put into a rental pool.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Right. Again, please repeat your contact details and whether or not, like, for example, your beds and that sort of stuff. How can people see these? Is this like an online catalog? Or is there a showroom? Or is there anything on display?
Yeah, we do have a display area at the retail location, which is on Smith Road. The beds there. We have the patient lift, walkers, wheelchairs, all those things that display.
Are there? Okay. And hours of operation of your retail store?
From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. And we also open on Saturdays from 9 until 12.
Okay. It's all about K-Man Medical Supplies, and telling us more about their products and services, Mr. Donald McLean, who is the founder and pharmacist, and Mr. Winston Moore, Managing Director of K-Man Medical Supplies. Susan, I think I'm going to ask you for a break before we get the closing thoughts and wrap up here from our guest this morning.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Always be prepared and ensure your family is provided for. Cayman Insurance Center specializes in life, property, motor, health, and liability at the most competitive premiums and affordable rates on island. Call Michael Webster today at 925-5433 for life insurance, or Denise Brown at 814-7229 for property insurance. Call them today for all your insurance needs.
Hello, I am Noel March, a small business owner in Georgetown for over 20 years. Small businesses depend on government to develop a quality infrastructure and environment that encourages entrepreneurs to create and grow local businesses, resulting in the creation of jobs and prosperity for Caymanians. Small businesses help drive our economy. Just as we have supported building the new airport, we must support the building of the new cargo and cruise port. It will give our tourism industry the opportunity to grow and Caymanian entrepreneurs the chance to shine. Support the port. Support our tourism.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up.
Sing praises unto God, sing praises. Come on, sing praises unto God, sing praises.
Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Praise the healer. Praise the healer. Jumping, he's my provider. Are you ready? Here we go. Set. I feel like running, skipping, running. Feel like skipping.
Praise time.
Give me Jesus in the morning. I will. So send me, Lord. I will go.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. It is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Give them a call, 949-6211, and also by Cayman Insurance Center. Celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. In studios telling us more about the products and services offered at Cayman Medical Supplies, pharmacist and founder, Mr. Donald McLean, who's just about ready to just sail off in the sunset and have Managing Director, Mr. Winston Moore, continue. And I'm so proud to know that this is 100% Caymanian owned, and they have kept the name of the founder. And you know what? We're going to see this around for many, many more years to come.
Oh, yes.
I applaud you all for that. And thank you, Mr. McLean, for giving them the opportunity, because many a times them dollar signs just get in front of your face.
Yeah.
And it just goes to the highest, who's willing to pay the most.
Well, I must say, I've never been driven by money. I have other passions. But, it's good that we're very thankful that we can provide a service, much needed service. And it is 100% Caymanian owned. You shop with us, your money stays here.
Mm-hmm. What would each of you like to leave with your listening audience as a takeaway this morning from this interview? Because you are key stakeholders in supplies that are definitely needed for years to come. We understand the importance and how stressful it could be, but succession is also key. You have made that first step, Mr. Donald.
Yeah. We supply essential services.
Yes.
People get sick. People are living longer. And we'd like to thank all our loyal customers for shopping with us. And please, if there's anything else we can do, any other service you'd like us to provide, let us know, and we'll definitely try and do it.
Thank you so much, Mr. McLean. Mr. Moore.
Yeah, I'd like to see, if there's anything in a customer need, don't hesitate to give us a call. We'll do our best to source it for you. And if we can't, we'll let you know. Okay. But we'll do our best.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on our show. And again, publicly, I want to thank you for your continued support of this show, The Business Buzz. We so appreciate it. Without you, this show would not be possible.
Thank you very much.
Again, the Radio Cayman's Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Give them a call, 949-6211, and also Cayman Insurance Center. Celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. We want to thank our producer, Susan, and she's also manning the boards this morning. Until Thursday, have a safe and fabulous Tuesday.
Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by insurance agents Michael Webster and Denise Brown from Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in life and property insurance. Don't take chances with your family's future.
Shaken yet standing firm.
I was not built to break.
This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.